All right, we'd like to welcome everyone out there in Evangel Country. You're looking live at Clayton O'Neill Field at the Evangel Sports Complex, where tonight your Evangel Lightning's at home for the first time on Clayton O'Neill Field for the 2024 season, hosting the Freedom Cowboys from Huntsville, Alabama. A classic rivalry expected tonight as these two teams both have one loss on the season. Evangel's loss coming a couple weeks ago to Banks Academy. And the Freedom Cowboys dropped their first game, a close game up in Gatlinburg at the Black Bear Brawl to the Pack Panthers. So both teams are 4-1 since Freedom's loss up in Gatlinburg. They have blown out their opponents by at least 4 scores. And we expect a great battle tonight. These two teams are very familiar with each other, very well-coached teams on both sides of the ball tonight. Both teams like to run the football, and I expect to have a tough contest tonight at home to try to move to 5-1 on the season. I'm Scott Stafford. I'll be your producer and play-by-play announcer for tonight. On the broadcast with me is Ryan Staniscavage with color commentary. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Scott.
So, have you had enough time this week with your busy schedule to take a look at any Cowboys video, or what's your thoughts on the game?
Well, first of all, home sweet home, you know, and there's no place like home, and kind of ironic with the weather that we have that too. And, the Freedom Cowboys are traditionally just a fantastic power running team.
Yeah.
And where the weakness that Coach Smith has been able to exploit is when they get behind, they tend to get out of their game plan and try to catch up all at once. But now we have the weather to contend with. So I assume that if the rain does not hold off, then we're going to see a lot of running by both teams. And it's down in the trenches that is going to make the difference of this game.
Absolutely. And the field, as you can see, is not in the best condition. We had a bout of army worms back in the summer that decimated some of the grass on the turf here at Clayton O'Neill Field. But we're doing the best we can to get that back in shape, so we'll see if that has an impact tonight. So far, it is not raining, but there are clouds all around us, and the radar does not look like we will get out of here without getting wet tonight. So we'll see how it goes. If there's lightning in the area, I'm sure there'll be possible postponements or delays, rather. But we're praying that the rain holds off and we can get this one in. So got Coach Smith's comments on the game a little while ago this afternoon. And Libby Windsor is our producer tonight. Libby, if you want to take us to the Coach Smith show, we'll have a listen to that real quick. Well, we'd like to welcome everyone to the 5th edition of the Coach Smith Show for 2024. We are broadcasting from the Evangel Sports Complex. Again, I'm here with ECS Athletics Director and Head Varsity Football Coach Tim Smith. And we also have a couple of seniors here this afternoon. Paul Dixon to my left, Braden Reeves to Coach Smith's right. And Coach, I think I'll start with you as always. For the second year in a row, we traveled up to Franklin Christian Academy in Tennessee last week, and similar to last year, we found ourselves trailing by a score at halftime. But again, the team was able to complete the second half comeback and get a win, get out of there with a win. So I bet you were a little bit proud of the guys' grit and resiliency with that win last week.
Yeah, I told them after the game, there's not a rule that says we have to be behind every Friday night first. We don't have to let everybody score first. But, that's 2 years. Really, we played them 3 in the last 5 years, and all 3 games have been really competitive. Mm-hmm. Coach Johnson does such a good job up there with them. And, they were ready for us. I knew they would be. They were prepared, and they hit us in the mouth right off the bat. And I was proud of the offense. You know, they go down and score, and then we take the ball and have about a 5-minute drive, and we answer, and then they score again before the half. And, you know, we challenged them at half. I told them, I said, we get the ball first. We need to go down and score, tie this thing up, and then let's just win and go back to Alabama. Part of that happened. We went down and scored quick. Well, 6-minute and 15-second drive, I believe, is what we had. And I loved it, just hammering them. And we score, tie the game up, and, of course, we go back and forth. And a couple of key plays on both teams that could have went either way. You know, they have a fourth down call. We had called a timeout. I wish Coach Clay was here because, you know, that blood vessel he's got.
It was bulging a little bit.
We called timeout and tell them exactly. Paul's on there.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're going to run that stick right, and they're going to run it right here just like they've been doing all night long. I'm not going to mention his name. He's hard-headed sometimes, but he's a football player. But he bit again, and he was wide open, and they just missed him. He missed it, and that was a fourth down play, and then we get the ball and drive down, and with 1:30, I think, we score.
Right. Number 16 that they were trying to throw it to.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the tall kid.
Right. I mean, they threw it all night long.
Yeah. Yeah, so, again, another shutout in the second half for the defense. Any adjustments made or just the guys buckled down and balled out?
You know, Clay didn't make a lot of adjustments. We went over what they were doing to us and showed them. Of course, you know, they kept doing that to us, so we didn't do – that was their best play. I mean, we knew what was coming. Even when we called it, that's the reason we called the timeout to say, hey, guys, they're going to throw it to him, and he's going to be right there. And he was. But not a lot of adjustments. On offense, we adjusted more. You know, we decided to be more physical. We got in that formation that I like a little bit and ran the Sally play a couple of times out of it, wide open. And, you know, defensive-wise, we just Clay and those guys over there, they do a great job getting them ready. And second half, man, we just – was that 3 weeks in a row now I think we've had? No. 2 weeks in a row we had shutouts against Abbeville. They scored on basically the last play of the game.
Right. little what do they call that? Can we say garbage time?
Well, yeah.
I guess I just did.
You did. Abbeville's not listening anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you did a lot of the offense last week was from the running game. And on the back of Nick Cloudy kind of put the team on his back last week. Just talk a little bit about his performance and how much you enjoyed seeing the running game be so dominant last week.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's my favorite part of the game. I tell Kemp all the time, I said, I know you're not going to like what I'm about to tell you, but if we never had to throw the ball again, I'd be the happiest man on earth. I mean, you can take a team's will from them. And Nick Cloud, Wildcat, man, he had a game. You know, he hit the holes hard. We keep saying he don't have that breakaway speed, but, man, he hits the hole so quick that next thing you know, he's out there 10 yards. They may run him down, but I'll take 10 and 12 yards a pop.
Sure.
But he'll also get the tough yards, and then, you know, Cade, I couldn't think of his name.
Cade, yeah.
Yeah, Cade and Will, you know, running the jet sweeps and the red light plays that we run and some other stuff we do and running the bubbles. I don't think we threw the ball the second half very much. I mean, if we threw it 4 or 5 times, that was about it.
Right.
We just lined up, and I told them at halftime, let's be physical. Let's just go hit them in the mouth.
Yep. You did a good job of that for sure. Well, Coach, we go back to 8-man football this week after a few weeks of 11-man as the Freedom Cowboys come to Clayton O'Neill Field here at the Evangel Sports Complex. How's the preparation been for Freedom this week?
It's been a little different with the weather. You know, we didn't get to practice yesterday at all. So it's been a little different. In fact, we're going to do our walkthrough today after we get through eating pregame meal here in a few minutes. We're going to do our walkthrough. It's been good, though. We had a really good Tuesday. We had a really good Wednesday. I thought the kids, they can tell you, I mean, they were bouncing around really well. Wildcat was at another level of extreme. If you don't know what I mean, come to practice one day. Paul's over there smiling. They know. But it was a good week. I think we're ready. It's a challenge, you know, and I not that I love to switch it over against anybody on our schedule, but of all people, Freedom, because they're the most physical team usually because they like to do what we do. They like to run the football.
Mm-hmm.
And to switch it over from 11 man and only have 3 really good practice days, it's tough.
Right.
But we'll be ready.
Good deal. And this is the first time I can remember that we've gone this long into the season without having a game at the sports complex. And so this is the first real home game at the sports complex. Just what are you expecting from the crowd tonight and the atmosphere?
Well, if it's like it usually is, it'll be loud, it'll be packed. You better get here early to find a parking spot.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever we go, I was, that crowd last Friday night at Franklin was just unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. In fact, I told Bill Snuggs, I said, I know you didn't get to see it, so Bill told me to tell you, could y'all pan around and let him see the crowd every now and then?
Okay.
But to turn around, and the kids will tell you, when we turned around Friday night, it was full.
Yeah.
And half of that was our people. And to go that far and follow us, that means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great atmosphere for some high school football for sure. And just talk a little bit about I know you and Coach Collins, head coach at Freedom, go way back. You guys kind of have had a little rivalry over the years. We've had their number here recently. They in the early, I think we're 13-9 overall against them, and early in that series they won most of the games, and here lately we've been on a streak. But he's a tough competitor, isn't he?
He is. They're going to be prepared. They're going to be physical, and they're going to run the football.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't stop them, if you don't step up and tackle them, if you don't step up and hit them, they're going to keep doing it to you. They do what we do. They want to take your will. Kyle's an old school coach, and then he played at Auburn. He was a tough guy there.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a pretty good rivalry.
Yeah.
We go at it pretty good.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, let's talk to our seniors tonight. Braden, I'll start with you. You've been around the program for a while, came up through the JV ranks and everything. And a question I like to ask the long-timers like yourself is, what's your favorite memory from your time at Evangel?
Well, it's probably either winning the JV state championship or probably hanging out at varsity, winning the nationals and states.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Fun times in Panama City. And, yeah, you guys, I think, who was it that said that? Last week?
The second one that said the junior high state championship.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was.
Henry Rhodes. Yeah, that's right. He was on last week's show, and he mentioned that was his favorite memory as well. That was
Coach
undefeated.
John Parker.
Yeah, Coach Parker, the Coach Parker boys. So also just wanted to ask, I know you're actually hurt now. You got banged up a little bit last week, but what you've seen at practice, what has Coach Smith been emphasizing this week about what it's going to take to beat the Cowboys this week?
He said basically this is like their Super Bowl to try knock us off and all that. So
That's
I think
a good point.
We just need to go at them and just be us.
Mm-hmm. Hit them in the mouth early and try to get a lead. But that would be nice for a change, wouldn't it? To get a lead early.
You remember the last 2 years, all those people that was fussed because we was beating people and they had a hot clock. They got their money's worth this year, hadn't they?
They have for sure. And like Henry Rhodes, who we had on the show last week, you're an outdoorsman as well. So talk a little bit about your experience with the bass fishing team at Evangel.
I was one of the first 4, I guess, to start it, and I've just been on it ever since.
That's right. Did you fish with Simon the first year? Ethan. Okay. And then you joined Simon the next year, right? And then you're back with him this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what he told me. Yeah, so Simon is one of the other seniors on the varsity football team. And you guys were able to win a Team of the Year championship at the end of 2023. What was that like for you?
That was pretty cool, just beating all the big schools like Thompson and all those big 7A schools.
That's right.
Evangel, just beating one of them is pretty cool.
Pretty cool accomplishment, especially since we hadn't been around very long when we did that, 2 or 3 years, something like that. That was pretty cool for sure. Well, Paul, you were a late addition to the Lightning roster like my son Simon was. You were a little bit later.
Yes, sir.
What was the tipping point when you decided to contact Coach Smith about coming out for the football team for your senior year?
Well, one of my friends on the basketball team, y'all know him, Nick Cloud, Wildcat. He's always wanted me to play football, and I always got encouraged by Coach Smith himself when I was playing basketball. Come out and see how I like football, and I finally decided to come out, and I loved it, and I've loved it ever since. And it's a great opportunity to come out here and learn from y'all, like coaches who have done it from time to time for a long time and know what they're doing. It's a great opportunity to mature and learn from that.
No doubt. So there's a little physicality in basketball, banging down low and stuff. But
Yes, sir.
what about football? You like that contact?
Yeah, I do. I just need to learn to learn to hit right. But once I get that, it's fun. I like it. I really like it.
Yeah, and you've managed to get some significant playing time here in the early part of the season. That been pretty satisfying for you for your senior year?
Yes, sir. I'm very appreciative of that. And like I said, it's a great time out there just being under the lights, because I've never played football before, and it's obviously very different than basketball. So,
yeah,
I'm having a great time learning.
Yeah, I didn't think about this. What difference do you know? I mean, basketball, obviously you got a smaller team than a football team, but what are maybe some of the differences, like in the fellowship or the camaraderie that you build with football players versus basketball players? Any difference you notice there, or it's about the same?
I'd say like on the camaraderie part, I'd say it's pretty much the same. Like pregame, like we try to get pumped up and stuff and hyped, and like we have motivational talks, and like if we win, we're happy, but we're also looking to the next game. If we lose, we're looking what we did wrong in that game. So I'd say like relationship wise with the teammates is pretty similar, but like gameplay wise, I'd say it's very different, because football, it's basically the opposite of basketball. Like I usually try to like calm myself down and play more of a relaxed game in basketball, but football, it's like fast paced. You got to hit the hole. You got to do it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You got to fire yourself up a little more.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's true. And so is basketball still your first love, or are you a football guy?
Coach Smith is side-eyeing me right now. Well, I mean, football has always been my first love. Like I played flag football when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
I always loved that, and I like watching football a lot more than basketball. But and I picked up basketball like 6th grade, and I've just been playing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't played football because I went to a small school called Westminster, and we didn't have a football team. And then by the time that I transferred to Mountain Brook to play basketball, it was just like I had to fully commit to that. So I've just been on basketball, but now that I have an opportunity to play football, I'm really excited and appreciative of it. It's a great time.
Well, we appreciate you coming out.
I got a funny pause.
Okay, let's hear it.
Oh gosh.
So we're going to start him at Banks at the corner. Hagan come to me and said that Paul had told him, said, "Hey, Coach, because, we had done started. We had done been through all the tackling drills and all that." And he said, "Paul had never tackled anybody." So before we go out on Legion Field, I get Paul to the side in the dressing room. I said, "Let's go over tackling real quick."
Oh, my goodness.
Now, he'd been through the tackling circuit, hitting dummies, going through. But as far as just
live players.
Yeah, because you don't do it as much, you know, and we don't think about it. He come in game 2. So, we he's all right. We got him.
Okay. Well, he hadn't hurt himself out there, so that's a good sign that you are coaching him the right way for sure. Well, guys, as always, we're going to need to wrap it up and let you guys get down there and eat a little pregame meal. So we wish you much success tonight against the Cowboys, and Coach will do it again next week.
Yes, sir.
Until then, we'll sign off. Strike Lightning.
Strike Lightning.
Good.
Right, we're about 9 minutes away, 9.5 minutes away from kickoff, and you heard from Coach Smith there. Coach Kyle Collins is an Auburn man, played ball at Auburn, and he knows how to play a tough physical game of football, and that's what we expect to see here tonight. Is that what you think, Ryan?
I think so. I mean, they're traditionally have a tough brand of football every year, and they are really good when they stick with it.
Yeah, we're trying to fix something here with the camera real quick to help Penn out a little bit. There we go. A little zoom action. Yeah, you'll just have to kind of maybe hold it like that. Yeah, we're in an improvised setup here tonight because we lost video. Okay, let me fix that and we'll be right back.